ever sat in silence? Not a peaceful silence, but the kind that aches? The kind that settles in your chest like smoke, not because you miss someone, but because something inside you feels off. We live in a world that rushes to label this feeling loneliness. But what if that's not what it really is? What if what we call loneliness is something far more terrifying? What if the real fear is this: being left alone in a room with the one person you've avoided the most, yourself? Carl Jung didn't see loneliness as a lack of connection with others. He saw it as a psychological crisis, a fracture between you and your own soul. He wrote, "Loneliness does not come from having no people around you, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to you." And what happens when you've silenced those important things, even from yourself? In the next chapter, we begin to uncover what's actually hiding underneath your discomfort with being alone, and why this fear is a portal to the truth you've long avoided. Jung believed that every person carries a shadow, not an evil presence, but a psychological truth, everything you were told not to be. It's the parts of you that were shamed, suppressed, or simply inconvenient to others. Your sadness, your anger, your fear, your ambition, your sexuality, your curiosity, your need to be seen. And rather than risking rejection, you buried them. But what you bury doesn't vanish, it waits. It leaks out through patterns you don't understand, through relationships that repeat, through reactions you can't explain. The shadow is not dangerous because it exists. It's dangerous because it operates without your awareness. The moment you're alone and the world grows quiet, that exiled self stirs. The discomfort you feel in solitude isn't loneliness. It's a part of you trying to return. And until you face it, it will run your life from the dark. Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." But how exactly does this hidden part of you shape your everyday choices? And how can you begin to reclaim control? That's what we explore next. You don't repeat toxic patterns by accident. You repeat them because something unresolved is trying to be seen. You feel stuck not because you're weak, but because part of you is at war with another part of you. The you show to the world, and the you keep chained in the basement. This internal division creates exhaustion, confusion, emotional reactivity, and low self-worth. You become a servant to the persona, the social mask Jung said we create to survive in the world. It smiles when you want to cry. It says yes when you want to scream no. But behind it all, the shadow is leaking through. In your sarcasm, in your procrastination, in your explosive anger, in your quiet despair. And each time you silence that inner voice, you deepen the fracture. In the next chapter, we don't just acknowledge this shadow, we descend into it and discover practical ways to begin the work of integration. Shadow work is not an aesthetic. It's not reading quotes or journaling when it feels cute. It is the psychological process of turning inward and facing the unpolished, unfiltered, and often deeply uncomfortable truths about yourself. Jung described it not as a single act, but a confrontation with yourself. Here are 5 practical methods rooted in Jung's work. Keep a journal, paper or digital. This process demands honesty, not perfection. You are not documenting for performance. You are recording to reveal. Write by hand if you can. It slows the mind and makes avoidance harder. If digital notes help you feel safer, use them, but be consistent. Shadow work needs a container, and this is yours. When someone irritates you disproportionately, pause. Ask, what does this say about me? Often, the traits you judge in others reflect disowned parts of yourself. Write down the moment it happened, what was said, how it made you feel, and ask yourself, have I ever been this way? Why does this bother me so much? Over time, you will start to see a pattern emerge, and this pattern is your curriculum. Keep a written record of emotional loops, relationships, fights, self-sabotage. These are shadow footprints. They are not mistakes. They are messages. Create a log or chart with columns: trigger, reaction, outcome, insight. Track it weekly. This isn't to judge yourself. It's to witness yourself in real time. The more you observe without flinching, the more those patterns lose their power over you. Jung pioneered active imagination to give voice to unconscious parts of the self. In practice, this means writing a letter to an emotion or a hidden part of you: your jealousy, your fear, your shame. Ask it questions. Let it speak freely, as if it were a separate person speaking to you. Then switch perspectives. Imagine you are that part of you and respond back. Write in its voice as if your fear or jealousy is answering you directly. This isn't about creating fiction. It's about giving language to what usually hides in silence. Yes, it feels strange at first, but you'll be surprised how coherent and revealing these dialogues can be. This is where some of the deepest insights emerge. Notice how you idealize or demonize people. That's not about them, it's about you. What parts of yourself are you outsourcing onto others because you refuse to claim them? Each time you feel an intense emotion, admiration, hatred, envy, pause. Ask, what is this person reflecting back to me? Note it down. This helps dismantle the illusion that others are the source of your emotional world. Often, they're just mirrors. Create a visual map of your inner world. Start with a blank sheet or digital canvas. At the center, write, "Me, I show the world." Around that, draw branches representing traits, emotions, or behaviors you hide, suppress, or deny. Label them honestly: anger, neediness, competitiveness, fear of failure, desire for control. Then next to each, write, "Why do I hide this?" and "Where did this start?" This practice turns abstraction into awareness. It helps you see on paper the emotional territories you've exiled and begins the process of welcoming them back. This work isn't glamorous, it's brutal, it's humbling, and it's the birthplace of true self-possession. If you want a written version of these 5 methods to keep for reference, it's available in the pinned comment below. Easy to access and revisit whenever you need it. Jung didn't believe the goal was to be good. He believed the goal was to be whole. That means making peace with contradiction. It means realizing you can be kind and have rage, be generous and still have dark thoughts, love people and still need boundaries. Wholeness is not moral purity, it's psychological adulthood. But integration isn't something others always celebrate. When you stop being predictable, people feel threatened. When you stop being agreeable, people call you cold. When you stop hiding, people say, "You've changed." You haven't changed, you've returned. And now you can stand alone, not in isolation, but in sovereignty. You were never afraid of being alone. You were afraid of who you are when no one else is watching, and what it means to finally accept that person without apology. But now you see, that person is not your enemy. That person is your liberation. So ask yourself, can you be alone without distraction and feel peace? Can you sit in silence and feel power instead of panic? Can you stop running from the dark and finally listen to what it's been trying to teach you? If yes, you're ready, and if no, you're still ready, because awareness is the doorway, and once you walk through it, your shadow stops being something you fear and becomes the most honest guide you've ever known. If this resonated, leave a comment below. I'm done running. I choose to meet myself. And as you move forward, take this with you. Your shadow is not a flaw. It's a map back to everything you once were and everything you're meant to become. Don't just understand these words, live them. Not all at once, not perfectly, but bravely. Because the self you've been avoiding is the self that's been waiting to set you free.